Okay, very good. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. This is our first half day of the summer Fuji. This year is very special. It turns out that we are doing the Fuji from 3 locations, from our 3 temples. So this is the first ever. Welcome, and I'm glad that you're here. To start out with, in Jewel Mountain Temple, here they sent us some photos of what they did. You see on the screen here. Quite a few people showed up for the Fuji. This is our first Fuji ever at Jewel Mountain Temple, what happened? There are only 2 left home people there. They're online? Oh, hello, Jewel Mountain Temple. They can hear us? Oop. Very nice photos. Very nice, yeah. And this is, they have a video as well. I don't know what they're doing here, but no sound. They apparently they chant without any sound. Huh? And apparently our young novice is leading the charge, and you can tell how excited they are. They are running like crazy. You can tell. This is Korean pace of high speed walking. Come on, guys, go a lot faster. It's a lot faster than that. Okay? Wow. This is so fast. Yeah, look at that. You should go at least 3 times as fast. Okay? Right? This is the great transference. We do it later. We will show you how to run. Okay? Don't do it like the Koreans do. Especially, I see Yip Che, and you've been to Way Mountain Temple. How can you walk that slow? Okay. So anyway, so this year very special. Thank you all. We're very excited. And this is the beginning of a new beginning for us. We have simultaneous Fuji all over. Huh? This is so cool. All right. Why are we doing this? Okay. What we are doing is the Great Assembly Dharma that's typical of Mahayana. This is a Chinese tradition that we picked up from my late Chinese master, Master YongHua, where he left. He died before he taught me, but I observed what they did at his way places. We organize we execute these Dharma assemblies where a lot of people get together. Great assembly meaning that a lot of people, okay, from all over, not only visible as well as invisible. So we get together as many as possible, and that's why typically we gather at a bigger way place. We not like the typical Korean or Vietnamese or Japanese temples. It's usually bigger temples. Okay, and so we need a big Buddha hall where people gather together and to practice together. So it's a great assembly, meaning a lot of people gather together and practice. So what you find interesting is that you have people of different skill sets, okay, different backgrounds. They get together and practice. So the purpose is to learn from each other, okay? This particular training is very, very special. The way the Chinese do it is that you just follow along. It's very simple. You follow along, and that's how you learn. You learn by doing what everyone else is doing and controlling your afflictions. You're going to be so afflicted because the more people you have to gather together, the more afflictions will arise inside of you. And so part of this thing here is beautiful because it allows your affliction to arise and encourage you to quit and get afflicted and quit. And also part of this first training is that you follow along and you control your afflictions and you don't quit no matter what. If you can't take it, talk to someone, talk to the organizers. Okay, so in the future, by the way, folks, in the future, we need to spend time when we organize these 4 Gs or these Gs, we need to spend time, especially Abbott and the Vice Abbott should stand up here and explain to you what this is about, why we're doing this, okay? So that people know what to expect and know what to do, all right? So again, the purpose is to be afflicted by others, okay? And when you're afflicted, you learn to recognize your affliction, be truthful about it, see what you're afflicted about, admit what you're afflicted about, and find a way not to quit. Okay, that's rule number 1. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get afflicted eventually. No 2 ways about it. Has it happened yet, anyone? Today is very hot. I was so afflicted. I can't believe it's a small thing and it's so hot already. Yeah. All right. And rule number 2, okay? Rule number 2 is that the purpose here is for you, we provide the facility and the support for you to focus on being here. Don't get distracted, okay? You are in a different environment, in a temple environment, so that you don't think about home, you don't think about work, you don't think about anything but the Dharma itself, okay? That's the second thing that's very hard to do as well, okay? So that's why it's very difficult. You have to realize it's very difficult for us, for anyone, to organize these Qis because we get a lot of obstructions. You wouldn't believe the kind of problem we've been having the last few weeks. As closer we get to the Qis, doing a Qi, we have so many problems, all kinds of problems from different directions, okay? So that's the nature of the process. You don't realize how difficult it is to be able to organize a Qi at all, let alone to organize it year after year after year, on a regular basis. That's virtually impossible. Okay, I don't know of any way places that can do this consistently, unless the abbot has a lot of blessings. Okay, for it to happen at any location, the abbot at that location needs to have a lot of blessings. Okay. So it's very, very difficult. So you have to enjoy it. This Qi here is very, very difficult. Okay, to come by. Okay, so because of that, because the purpose is to create environment for you to forget about your family, about your work, so that you go into a different environment and you can concentrate on the Dharma door itself. Okay? And you only have to do it for what? Sutra says. We just recited the Amitabha Sutra today. He says, the Buddha says, I'm quoting the Amitabha Sutra, Shariputra in English, page 186. Shariputra, if there is a good man or good woman who hears of Amitabha and holds his name, whether for 1 day, 2 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, as long as 7 days, with one mind unconfused, when this person nears the end of life, before him will appear Amitabha and all the assembly of holy ones. Okay? And when the end comes, his mind will be without inversion, and in Amitabha's land of ultimate bliss, who will attain rebirth. That's why we're doing this, for this 4G. Okay? This is traditionally why 4Gs are organized in the Pure Land Dharma door, so that you are trained to recite the Buddha's name for 1 day, or 2 days, or 3, up to 7 days. That's why it's Chi. Chi is 7. So you're given an environment, provided with an environment where you can practice to recite the Buddha's name for 1 day up to 7 days. So depending on on your time schedule, I would highly recommend you dedicate 1 day for 24 hours. Forget about everything, drop everything, and just focus on coming to the temple and participate. Okay? This is by design. This is what the Buddha says. Do it for 1 day, 2 days if possible, 3, maximum for 7 days. So that's what this Dharma is about. And I know there's many of you don't understand, so that's why you still use your phone and check for messages, check work, check family, and so forth. So if you can, try to arrange for you to be able to do that without interruption for 1 day or 2 days. Okay? That's what it takes. Okay? If you can. Don't worry about 7 days. I would be very humble. I do 1 day because how difficult it is. 1 day, and see if you can dedicate, just concentrate on reciting Buddha's name and following the schedule. That's point number 3. Number 4 is that you follow the schedule. Whatever happens, you get up at 4 or whatever, begin at 4, and you follow along with everyone else, and don't make excuses. Okay? The trick here is to follow the schedule, and you're supposed to struggle. Okay? Your body is not used to it, so you get tired physically as well. Okay? You have to struggle, and you just try to keep up with it. That's part of the training. Do you see? So do it for 24 hours. Be humble. I would do it just 24 hours. I'm sorry we never really explained it to you, because honestly, we never expected you to come back. Okay? And so that's why do it and for dedicate the time. Okay? Take turn. If that's if you have a family, husband and wives, you say the husband comes for 5 days and the wife comes for 1 day, something like that. Seems fair to me. Because we need more practices than the women. The women are better than we are. Let's face it. So anyway, I'm kidding. So you follow the schedule, okay, and you resist the temptation to check your phone for messages, call home, even your wife calls you, ignore her. Carefully. Okay, got that? Because I notice many of you come to the Fochi and the Chanchi, and you allow yourself to be interrupted, and that negates the whole thing. The Buddha says, I quote the sutra for you. The Buddha says for 1 day, okay, You can't even do it. You're here physically for 7 days, but you allow yourself to be interrupted constantly. You're not executing a Dharma properly. Got that? Okay? Just do that. Just follow along. Don't, it's not something that you need to argue and negotiate and so forth. Many of you have been coming to the Fochi for many years. I notice you don't, you get distracted constantly. Okay? It requires commitment. It requires discipline not to be interrupted. Doesn't matter. Okay? Okay? So do it for 1 day and then 2 days and so forth. See how far you can go. Okay? And this is important. This is when you do that, then what happens is that if you do that, you improve a lot quicker. This is why we're doing this, is to help you improve more quickly than otherwise. Yes, question. Yellow.
Emitofuo. Thank you, Master. I would like to ask a question. If we are here, but then family member come and visit us, is that okay?
If the family comes to visit you,
Yeah.
this is what you do when you see your family when you're here. Back! Okay? The whole point is to get away from them. I'm sorry. I love you, but give me some room, for God's sake. Okay? Just 24 hours, that's all I ask. Okay? The reason being that it's designed so that it takes your mind off worldly concerns. Okay? If you want, you see, you're at your levels right now, you're at the transcendental level already. And you keep allowing yourself to be preoccupied, interrupted by worldly concerns, meaning family, work, and so forth. Okay? Stop it. You cannot be here and do a transcendental Dharma door and get interrupted constantly. That doesn't work. Okay? We offer, we choose to be interrupted for you. So for example, we continue to work so that we give you the protection so that you're not interrupted. So take advantage of it, please. Okay? This is what it's about. All these facilities to help you achieve that isolation from the worldly concerns. And it's only for 24 hours, I promise you. If you get away for 24 hours, when you come back, your mind's so much faster and so much fresher. It's very useful. Okay? If they're still family. So far, so good? All right. So the schedule, okay, is designed for you to disengage more and more from worldly concerns, because when you first start, you still have all these worldly thoughts, these worldly worries. Okay? So it takes a while before that settles down. Okay? So for the Fochi, the Dharma door is very simple. To follow the schedule and you recite the Buddha's name. Okay, I don't know if you see this a lot in Korea or not. In Korea, the Koreans are more known for their song, for their Chan meditation. They're not very strong in Pure Land. Am I correct? Hey, Koreans, speak up. Not true? They're not online? They don't have the mic? No, Xienan is busy selling to someone. Okay. Xienan is hiding in the corner. You have noticed right here? This is Xienan right here. I don't think the Koreans understand English. So anyway, so you follow the schedule, okay? So don't think. So you follow the schedule so that you stop processing, okay? Just follow along. YouTube has a question.
Cordelia asks, for Chan Chi, can we use our phone to listen to Master Dharma while sitting?
I'll make an exception for you. Of course you can, okay? That's Chan Chi is a little bit later, okay? But for now, the Chan Chi, our training is slightly different. But the Fo Chi is, for now, for the Fo Chi, just follow the schedule, okay? It's very well-rounded, okay, of a schedule. So you should just follow the schedule, all right? And so, for example, notice that there are times when we recite loudly, then make the sounds. When you recite silently, then recite silently. Don't make any sounds. In particular, when you recite silently, do not move your lips. Okay? Don't make the mistake. Silent meaning you don't move, you don't do anything. You just recite with your mind. So far, so good? Any questions? Yes, go ahead. Apple, LA.
Wow, so nice. No more spy today here. So good for once. Couple questions, Master.
Did I hear a note of bitterness?
Question number one, 3 questions. I heard somebody saying that if you participate all 7 days in the 40, you will achieve Buddha recitation samadhi, no question about it. Is that the case? Are we guaranteed?
I'm trying to be nice here.
I heard that is what I heard that, so I'm trying to verify.
But it's a struggle. Anyway, why do you keep on asking questions that only spies ask?
No, I came from someone over here gave me that information, so I just want to make sure that's the correct information.
So they send you over here to ask that kind of question?
No, it's your disciple over there who told me about it.
Okay, so it's our fault.
So I mean, I'm sure a lot of us will make that if we are guaranteed that.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So with this training here, this particular Fo Chi here, the way the Chinese do it, is very clever, okay? The way the Chinese do it is designed to help you enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. Number 2, even during, if you need to enter only this recitation samadhi only once, Amitabha Buddha will come and bring you back when you at your time of death. Guaranteed. You don't need any help. Okay, so far so good? That's the way it is. So that's why this is what the Buddha says. The sutra says. The sutra says you practice this recitation for 1 day up to 7 days in order to enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. And if you do, they don't spell it out clearly for you, but I explain it for you. If you do only once, the Buddha will come to bring you back. So far, so good. Okay? So the purpose is, you can put it down. It's okay, relax. Yeah, it's okay, there you go.
I still have 2 more questions.
No. There's a limit for spies.
But you didn't say there was a spy here today.
Okay, I'll give you one more question. Tomorrow. The point here, I get distracted for some reason. So the purpose is to help you enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. So that's why you have to appreciate the Chinese. The Chinese patriarchs, they're very clever. So they organize this process here. And I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know if in the past the Chinese were able to enter this Buddha recitation samadhi during the 4Gs. I don't know that. I've never been to China. Okay, but what I do know is that our people, when they practice reciting Buddha's name here in the U.S., okay, they have entered the Buddha recitation samadhi. Our people. I don't know about your people. I don't know. Okay? Yeah, so from my perspective, it is possible, okay, to enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. Absolutely. That's number one. Number two, part of your question is it guaranteed? Absolutely. I guarantee it. For a price. You want guarantees, like insurance, you have to pay. Yes, yellow.
A Di Đà Phật, bạch thầy, con xin thêm một điểm nữa là theo kinh A Di Đà không phải chỉ là cái thời gian thôi, 1 ngày, 2 ngày, 3 ngày, 7 ngày, nhưng mà cái điều kiện thứ hai nữa là rất là quan trọng. Con đã theo pháp môn niệm Phật hơn 10 năm mà con không đạt tới được, đó là nhất tâm bất loạn. Cái điểm đó rất là quan trọng. Thành ra con xin nêu ra đây để chia sẻ với quý bạn.
It says XZ here. Is it the same XZ we know? Yes, exactly. The purpose of reciting Buddha's name is ultimately enter this Buddha recitation samadhi called with one mind unconfused. This recitation samadhi, absolutely, yes. If you enter that samadhi, then you are guaranteed rebirth to the Pure Land. Okay, that's the part of the self-help of the Pure Land Dharma door. Okay, we want to make sure that you commit to help yourself first. Okay, and it's possible for anyone to do that. Anyone, as a matter of fact. Okay, and so it goes without saying that what's implied here is that the Buddha says you go to this 4G in order to enter samadhi. Agree or disagree? You see that? It's implied in the sutra. You go to a 4G in order to enter the Buddha recitation samadhi. If you don't, okay, then you recite the Buddha's name in order to enter the Buddha recitation samadhi. Is it clear? And there's a purpose in doing this. You recite the Buddha's name in order to get to the state of the one mind unconfused. Okay? Same thing with meditation. Meditation, in order for you to become enlightened. It's only one goal. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, how do we know if we enter Buddha recitation samadhi? What is the mark of it?
I don't know. You know, when you enter samadhi, then you tell me, and I say, oh yeah, that's the samadhi. You don't tell me, I don't know. Okay? Who is this again? Yes.
Hi, I have a question. So what is exactly a Buddha recitation samadhi? How do you get there?
Talk to your girlfriend. How do you get there? This Buddha recitation samadhi is basically a state of concentration. It's a low-level state of concentration. It's not very high. It's not that hard to enter it, by the way. It's not. And that's why for you to enter this Buddha recitation, this state of recitation samadhi, is a lot easier than for you to enter, let's say, a 4th-stage Arhat concentration level. Conversely speaking, if you reach 4th-stage Arhat and you practice this, it's easier for you to enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. It works both ways. Does it help? Okay? There is, unlike Chan training, there is no systematic progression towards a state of concentration called one mind unconfused. There's no such a thing. So, unlike Chan we have first dhyana, second dhyana, and so forth. And the Buddha describes in great details what those are. And from there, us professionals can figure out what to do to help you get there. Okay? And I haven't taught my disciples yet. Okay? They will be trained by the time I retire. Okay? But the point being that in Chan school, okay, you have these progression very clearly delineated, and it's because of that there is a methodology for you to induce it as a teacher, and that's why in Mahayana the better Mahayana teachers know how to do that, like my master YongHua. Okay. So you need to reach a certain level before you understand how to do that, number one. Number two, in contrast, in the Pure Land school, there's no such a progression that I know of. It's not written anywhere, and I don't know of any formal training for that. Okay, we need documentation. There's no such documentation. Okay, so this Buddha recitation samadhi, it just happens to anyone, by the way. And the key is to keep on reciting the Buddha's name. That's the only requirement. You keep reciting, and one day you enter it. That's it. Okay? If you get to advanced levels like Master YongHua, okay, he can enter it, I imagine, at will. Okay? Because he's a different class by himself. Okay? So that's why once he reaches level, he understands what it's about. This Pure Land Dharma door is about. So that's why at your level, okay, there's no guarantee for you, no systematic process for you to enter this samadhi like the Chan school. However, the closest one is the Fo Chi, or the Wan Yin Chi. You participate in Wan Yin Chi, the Fo Chi, and follow the schedule, your chance of entering samadhi is very, very high. If you dedicate it for 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. We haven't explained it to you in the past years, okay, and on purpose, okay, because if I explained it to you earlier, you would not take it seriously. Now that we established that our Chan is for real, okay, if Chan's for real, if we can do Chan, Pure Land is a piece of cake for us, honestly. You don't need to sell you on Pure Land because Chan is much harder, much harder. Okay, so that's why. Now I'm explaining it to you because if in the past we more selective, we train our people using Chan more than Pure Land. Okay, now we're expanding so that now I've been ordered to train you in Pure Land. That's why I take it more seriously. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yes, by number 2.
Part of the reading from the Amitabha Sutra that you read, the other keyword was good man and good woman, and apparently out there were different definitions for it. Can you define what is a good man or good woman for us? Thank you.
You don't know what a good man is?
Not the way Amitabha is talking about it in the Amitabha Sutra.
Daniel. What's the matter, man? She doesn't know what a good man is, who a good man is. Anyone else does not understand who a good man is? See, it's no problem. Next. Good man is a Buddhist term, 善男子, which comes from the Chinese word 善男子, which comes from Sanskrit, upasaka and upasika. Good man, good woman. Okay, I don't remember Saka is man or Sika is man. Someone has to help me. Okay, but so in Sanskrit it says upasaka, upasika are the ones who are Buddhist disciples. Okay, and they observe the precepts, and then they draw near the Sangha to help propagate the Dharma. Okay, so that's what the Buddha says. In the sutra it says, if a good man or woman decides to do that, then devote 1 hour, 1 day and 2 days and so forth. Okay. However, okay, that's the literal words from the sutra. Okay. Let me tell you, it's not true. If you don't need to stick to the literal interpretation of a good man or good woman, you don't need to be Buddhist. You don't need to be even a good man. You can be a very bad man. And you can still enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. That's a fact. Okay? However, if you are Buddhist and so forth, you take a precept and observe precepts, it's much easier for you to enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. Is that clear? But it's not necessary at all. Okay? So that's what I like about the Pure Land Dharma door. You don't need to, you can be anyone and you can enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. And it has happened before already in the history of Pure Land Buddhism. Okay? You don't need to be Buddhist. Okay? If we're not that restrictive and that rigid as people would interpret from reading the sutra. It's not the case. I speak to you because of facts, empirical evidence. People who are not Buddhists are able to enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. Okay? All right. You too.
Waldick asks, Master, is there a difference in reciting Namo Amitabha Buddha or Namo Emitofuo or just Emitofuo for entering samadhi?
It's no difference at all. It makes no big deal. It's really no big deal. The samadhi is Sanskrit for concentration. So however you do it, okay, whether it's Namo Amitabha, Namo Emitofuo, or whatever, it's the repetition of his name that will help you, will facilitate your entering this samadhi. So it doesn't matter. It's up to you how you practice it. But for us personally, I prefer just Emitofuo, because it's more compact. Namo, I rarely use Namo. Okay? It's just a personal preference. All right? Anything else? Yes, yellow.
I have an issue reciting Buddha. But so I try to recite, but then a lot of time my mind doesn't want to move, so it doesn't feel like reciting. It feels like sitting quietly and meditate. So what do I do? Should I force it and say, "Hey, keep reciting Namo Amitofuo in my silent in my head," or should I just meditate and blank my mind and think of nothing?
I think you should go back to your temple. Next. Of course, it's difficult. And the point here is that there's no guarantee. It's not supposed to be easy, but the point is you keep on trying even when it's difficult. What the nature of your question is, underlying your question is that you give up because it's difficult. And our true disciples, they don't give up when it's difficult. Right? See? Anyone else? Yes? Yellow.
Bà thầy, con tu niệm Phật lâu lắm rồi thầy, mà con quan sát đó, có nhiều đạo hữu niệm Phật 6 tiếng một ngày, hơn 6 tiếng một ngày, mà niệm rất là nhiều năm, nhưng mà cuối cùng kết quả cũng không tới đâu hết. Con nghĩ là cái phương pháp hình như nó không có đúng, chỉ cái miệng với cái niệm không đúng đâu thầy. Xin thầy dạy cho chúng con cách phương pháp nào để cho nó hiệu quả.
Okay, so translation.
Master, I've been reciting Buddha's name for quite a while, and then I noticed there's a lot of people, they can recite maybe 6 hours or more than 6 hours a day for so many years, but there's not much result. Because I feel like the method they use maybe is not very correct, like they just use their mouth to recite. So could you please show us if there are a method that help us to recite the Buddha's name more effective?
It's not uncommon for a lot of people to recite the Buddha's name and not ever be able to enter the state of one mind unconfused. Okay? It's because, number one, very simple. If you ask the person who teaches you how to recite the Buddha's name, this is what I would do, looking back. Okay? If someone wants to teach me how to recite the Buddha's name, remember for what purpose again? Enter this Buddha recitation samadhi, right? That's why we're doing this. So my first question to that teacher would be, what is it? If that person cannot answer me, I would not want to stick around. I'm very practical. I don't want to waste time. Okay? My purpose of reciting Buddha's name is to enter this recitation samadhi, and this teacher does not even know what it is. Then I'm not interested. Okay? Forget it. Okay? So that's the problem with most people who recite Buddha's name. Most people recite Buddha's name because their friend and their acquaintances and their monks and nuns tell them to recite the Buddha's name. Okay? Because it's a good thing. But they were never stressed. They never taught that you recite in order to enter this samadhi. It's very simple. Okay? And because it's clear, so to me, you don't even need to ask. If people teach you to recite Buddha's name and they don't stress the fact that it's for you to enter samadhi, walk away. That's what I would do. Okay? You know it's going nowhere. Because if you don't even know what the samadhi is, how do you recognize it? Okay? There's a way to recognize it. Okay? And I don't want to tell you. The reason being, if I tell you, the charlatan monks and nuns will imitate my words and tell you the same thing, and therefore it ruins the Pure Land Dharma door. Okay? But if you practice and you enter the samadhi, you come to me and say, Master, this is what happened to me. And I said, yeah, that's it. You understand? I will verify it for you, but I will not describe to you for public consumption. It's not a good thing because people will abuse that knowledge. That's why we don't tell you. That's why I don't tell you. All right? If I can give you a clue, if you're interested. But if you're not interested, I don't have to.
Please do, Master. Thank you.
But that's question number 4.
I didn't ask the question, you asked it, Master.
Honey, you use up your quota tonight. Okay? I researched it myself. When I first learned about the Buddha recitation, Dharma door, I said, what is this recitation samadhi? Okay? And so I asked, and so the Chinese has a description, so that's why it's public knowledge. That's why I'm willing to share it with you. Okay, it says, the Chinese says, this recitation samadhi. Pay attention. Okay, when you enter the samadhi, when you recite the Buddha's name, okay. It's like 一片. This recitation becomes 一片. That's it. I'm not going to translate. Ask the Chinese. Chengdu, help them out. Sorry, I was looking at the screen, 5 fingers. I don't know. 5 fingers. Bare paws, it's not 5 fingers, it's bare paws. Go ahead, bare paws. Let's see if the Koreans have it. Do Koreans have this thing? The recitation samadhi is called 一片. Go ahead, Korea. No? Still? You know how much money we spend in Korea for this? I don't want to be critical, but you know, really, seriously. Does Abbott know? Okay. Is it operator problem? Is it operator error? Shoot the operator. Okay. Chinese people, what is 一片 to you? That's all it says. The recitation becomes 一片. Go ahead, yellow.
One, just one. One piece, one entity.
What's
one.
片? 一 is 1. 一片. What's 片? All over. Where do you learn Chinese, boy? Okay, anyone else? What's 片?
片 it's like piece. 打成一片 it's 打成一片 it's like a metal when you make a piece of metal, you beat it and then becomes
Very good. Okay.
one thing.
One piece, one block. Okay? That's what it says. So when you recite here, it becomes one block. That's available. That's public knowledge. What is that 1 block? You don't know, then you haven't achieved it yet. Got that? Okay, that's all. Yeah. So that's what the Chinese Pure Land Dharma door says. So the first person that I asked when I was learning about this Pure Land Dharma door, because I was a CTB, they supposedly specialize in Chan. Most of the Master YongHua say they specialize in Chan or tantric. So this Heng Chang, he says, I want to teach you how to decide Buddha's name. So I asked him, what is this Buddha recitation name? Samadhi, he says, according to the Chinese, is Yi Pian. Okay? Never try to explain it. So later, and so that's where I first learned about this concept. And later, when I did the research myself, and I verified it's from the Chinese text, the Chinese scripture, so that's correct. Heng Chang is very erudite. He's very well read. Okay, and so I verified. So once I confirmed it's a proper information, I verified it, and I practiced and discovered what it meant. Okay, because I decided to teach Pure Land Dharma door. And if Pure Land Dharma door is to enter this samadhi, I better enter it before I teach. Otherwise, I shouldn't teach. Okay? That's all. It would be a waste of your time and my time. Yes, go ahead. Orange.
A Di Đà Phật, thưa Thầy, có phải Thầy dạy là nhất tâm? Để đạt được cái nhất tâm đó thì có nhiều pháp dạy như là quán tưởng. Nhưng mà con cũng không biết làm sao để đạt được cái nhất tâm đó. Con nghĩ cái đó là cái key để mà đạt được. Nhưng mà con không biết là ở đâu, làm sao mà tìm ra.
Okay. What he's asking is, what kind of concentration that he doesn't quite understand how to get there. Let me give you a very simple thing. Okay, you don't need to understand. The more you understand, the least likely you are to enter it. So don't try to understand. You enter samadhi just like in Chan training. You enter samadhi because you're doing the right thing, not because you understand. Okay? You cannot improve in Chan unless you do the right things. It doesn't matter how much you understand, it doesn't matter how smart you are. Unless you do the right thing, you will not enter samadhi. Same thing in the Buddha recitation. You can recite for 6 years, for 6 hours a day, for 50 years. Okay? If you do the wrong things when reciting Buddha's name for 50 years, good luck. Okay? So that's why it goes back to why you come here and you do 1 day, 24 hours a day. Okay? And you haven't entered it yet, next time do it again. And do it again and do it again. Maybe increase it to 36 hours, to 48 hours. Okay? To 60 hours, to 72 hours. You increase it. And you keep on doing that, you will enter this recitation samadhi. Guaranteed. You know what I mean? There's a methodology here where if you do this, your chances of entering samadhi is very, very high. That's all we can do. Same thing when we teach Chan, it's the same thing. When we teach you time, we tell you cross your legs and sit longer because those are the favorable conditions for you to increase your samadhi. Same thing in Pure Land. There's this Chan Chi, the Fo Chi here, is designed to help you, create the conditions for you to enter this recitation samadhi a lot easier than you were to do it on your own. Okay? What's wrong, if I don't want to criticize them, what's wrong is that they were not trained properly in the Pure Land Dharma door. Okay? See, I'm coming from a Western educated person perspective. I have goals. And I need to be able to justify for you. Otherwise, I won't teach it because the Westerners would have a hard time accepting it. Okay? Whereas the Asians are different. You Asians are, us Asians. Us Asians are sheeps. We do what we're told, okay? And that works. But it doesn't work with Westerners, especially with the kids who are, Asian kids who go to Western education system. They will struggle. So that's why we need to adapt, okay? And in essence, the way that the Pure Land Dharma door is practiced in Asia is not very good, primarily because the teacher cannot enter this samadhi. He does not know how to systematically enter this Buddha recitation samadhi. He doesn't. And the only one person I know of who can do it is my teacher. He can enter it consistently. I haven't seen it, but I know his level. He's able to do that. Okay? That's who you want to learn from. Okay? And you have to drop. You have this problem for the Asians, us Asians, that you want guarantee. There's no such a thing. All you do is you follow the instructions. That's your best guarantee. No one's going to guarantee you anything. Okay? No such a thing as guarantee. You have to follow instruction because the instructions are designed to help you experience that samadhi. And you don't need to understand. Okay? At your level, unfortunately, at your levels, if you understand, it's much harder for you to enter that samadhi. At Master Shenhua's level, he can enter it at will. He knows how. At your level, it doesn't work like that. At your level, it's best that you don't understand. You understand? Wait a minute, I used too many understands. Forget that, no understand. Yes, you too. Okay? That's your problem right there. You want to understand. It's not going to help you. Okay? Yes, let me answer YouTube and I explain to you why. YouTube, go ahead.
Daniel from Japan asks,
what?
Shiravaka
Another Daniel?
Yeah. So Daniel from Japan asks, Shiravaka teachings suggest that faith in the Buddha alone keeps one from falling into the lower realms. How much more so is this for Mahayana?
Okay, from what teaching again?
This is Shiravaka.
Shiravaka? It sounds like baklava to me.
Shiravaka.
Huh? Theravada?
No, Shiravaka.
Shravaka. Oh no, this guy.
Shravaka.
It sounds like that sriracha hot sauce that we eat with the pho. Don't you think? I mean, it's Shravaka, okay? Meaning it's a monk. S-V-R-A, Shra. No, S-R-A-V-A-K-A, right? Shravaka, okay? So that's Sanskrit for a left home person, especially a monk, okay? It doesn't, it's pronounced as Shravaka, not Shiraka. You like Shiraka? You know, that head sauce with the green cap, you squeeze and comes out on the pho, and you mix it. Okay, Shravaka, faith in. So repeat the question again.
So Shravaka teachings suggest that faith in the Buddha alone keeps one from falling into the lower realms. So how much more so is this for Mahayana?
You believe everything you read? I don't. Okay? I'm sorry, Daniel. Another Daniel. It's not true. I don't believe it's true. Okay? It's because I say that for your sake, in that you don't understand what that phrase says. Faith in the Shravaka or in the scriptures, that doesn't work. I give you a proof, an example, an anecdote. Okay, there was a king that when the Buddha was alive, I believe it's not Bimbisara, but one of those kings who in India who were very devout, a very devout Buddhist, and he would follow the Buddha in many places to attend his lectures, and so he has profound faith in the Buddha. Okay, and he got to the level of like an arhat level, I believe, second stage or third stage arhat. Okay, and that's as high as he got. And then by the time that he was lying on his deathbed, okay, he only got as high as third stage arhat. And so you see, so he got there based on the faith on the Buddha. Okay. However, when he was on his deathbed, and the guy refuses to die, he kept on lying there, and day after day after day, and being a king, his attendant is there 24 hours a day. So there's this guy here, you know, that has to pull the string for a fan on top of his head, on his headboard. So the guy pulls a fan, so the fan creates a wind. Okay, and the guy, the attendant, had to do that, and for days on end. So one day the attendant was so tired or sleepy, so he dropped the cord. So the fan fell on top of the king's head. Okay, and the king who was third stage arhat, okay, was so upset. Said, "So I see you guys can't wait for me to die, huh? Because you really have no respect for me at all on my deathbed." And because of that thought, with the last thought, he died. And he went into the animal realm because of his anger. Okay? He was about to become a snake. The Buddha, because this is the Buddha's favorite disciples. You know? Only Buddhas have kings as favorite disciples. Anyway, so the Buddha knew, so immediately called Mahamoggaliyana to come over and speak Dharma to the king and save him from the fall. Okay, and that's what happens. So my point being that there are plenty of anecdotes in Buddhism, in the scriptures, where his disciples, the Buddhist disciples, have a lot of faith in the teachers, whether it's the Buddha or a good no advisor. But when at the death time, they will still fall because of that process of death. Okay, so the scripture is not quite the way you think. Okay, so in brief, Danielle, I disagree. I don't think it's true. The faith alone, historically, in our from the scriptures I read, it's not true. Even with profound faith, you still can fall. Okay, and I happen to see that as well. Okay, so no, you can't take things literally. Okay, there's a lot of twists and turns in the sutras, including this, for example, Amitabha Sutra. Unless I explain to you the process of the Fo Qi, we need to spell it out for you, because from empirical evidence, from experience, it's not spelled out in the sutra. This is from experience, from teaching, from training people. You too, go ahead.
Cordelia asks, Master, during the Dharma talk this morning, you said you have a new way of reciting the Buddha's name. Can you please show us how? Thank you, Master.
I'd love to, but the time has run out because too many questions. Okay. Can we do it another time, or should I do it right now? Right now? Okay. Okay, I'm in a good mood. There's so many people in Blue Mountain Temple are falling asleep. Look at them. Look at that. I don't even recognize them at all. Some of them wear masks. Some of them are dozing off, like Master Xianche right there. See, he's totally asleep. Okay. So first of all, the reason I thought of this is because I decided to fill you in, encourage you to devote 24 hours. That we start doing the Qis differently. I asked you to do 24 hours. Okay, devote a block of time. Do not do it half-assed. I mean, half. Excuse me. Half-baked. Okay, so devote the time. You follow the schedule. Okay, that's number one. Okay, what they don't teach you, okay, is what about in between the time slots? For example, when you're eating, when you are taking a break, okay, when you are not reciting, you are doing a rest period. What do? The objective here, I'm going to teach you differently this year, is to keep your mind on reciting Buddha's name. We all know that, right? You're supposed to do that, but you don't know how because no one taught you how. Okay? The Chinese only tell you, keep reciting Buddha's name. Tonight, okay, if you, first of all, if you understand the importance of committing to a block of time. Remember, Yi Pian is a block. That's why. You see the analogy here? The connection here? If you want to enter this samadhi, your recitation becomes a block. Okay? So I want you to devote a block of time to recite. Does it make sense? It doesn't have to. It doesn't matter. Okay. So you devote, 24 hours to do that. So you follow, in 24 hours is a schedule. You get up and do the morning ceremony at 4. Do not decide for yourself that 4 is too early for me. Okay? Because it makes me too tired at the end of the day. Right, YongHua? She's asleep. See what I mean? She says, I need to rest. I'm old. I'm old, and I need to make sure I can keep up, so I pick and choose what I want. Choice has been removed from the equation for you. You just follow the schedule. I don't care. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. Just follow the schedule, number one. Okay? Cut it out. Don't decide for yourself. We decide for you. Right? That's the schedule. You follow. Jewel Mountain. Go ahead.
Hey Soon asks, when I sit and recite the Buddha's name, it's easier to concentrate. And then when we have to get up, can I continue sitting and reciting?
Yeah, you do it at home. Yeah, why not? What did I just tell you? Follow the schedule. Do what everyone else is doing. You like me to explain that to you in Espanol? Okay, good question, by the way. That's my problem too. When I first started reciting the Buddha's name, I hated it. I recited so fine when I said, and then I have to get up. I said, can I just sit here and continue? I can recite so much better than walking. And it turns out, I walked and entered samadhi. Okay, let it be a lesson for you. Just follow along. Don't try to second guess. Don't try to optimize. Just follow along like a robot. That's part of the training. Okay, that's necessary. All right. Jewel Mountain still has a question.
Yeah, there are 2 more questions from Jewel Mountain.
Wait a minute. They cannot. They don't have any sound.
I don't know. Maybe it works now. Jewel Mountain, you want to try your sound?
So
I don't know about you Koreans, but in the U.S. here, if I spend that kind of money on the audio video equipment and there's still no sound, I would send Brother Vito to pay you a visit and look at your kneecaps. You don't find it funny? No, we do for real. It's not supposed to be funny. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, I'll ask the question. So Mr. Nam asks, normally we recite Buddha's name after afflictions or false thoughts arise. Can we recite the Buddha's name before thoughts or afflictions are produced? And is this Buddha's recitation samadhi?
No, it isn't. Just recite. Don't worry so much. Okay? The instruction is just recite. Walk and recite. Do what everyone else is doing. That's all. Don't try to understand. Okay? If the affliction arises, let it arise. Go back to reciting because you're not supposed to get afflicted. The instruction is that doesn't say you should get afflicted. The instruction is that recite. Keep it simple. Don't try to understand too much. Go ahead, Jewel Mountain.
Yu Min asks, when we are all reciting together out loud, I can endure the leg pains, but when we recite silently, the pain is so intense and I can't recite the Buddha's name. What should I do?
Grind your teeth. Folks, it's supposed to be difficult. I don't know about Korea, but in the US here, can I share it with you how we train our people? Okay? Here in the US, training begins when you have problems. If you have no problems in the US, we don't think it's training. So meaning that you recite the Buddha's name and your legs hurts, that's when you start really reciting. If you recite Buddha's name without any problems, that doesn't count. That's how tough we are in the US. right? See, Daniel agrees. All right? Yeah, of course, the answer is, of course, when it's difficult and you have a hard time, keep at it. Keep concentrating and try if you can keep trying until the pain goes away. That pain there is temporary. The Buddha's name will eventually prevail. How's that? Okay, I'm sorry, Cordelia. There's no more time. There's too many questions. Do we have any more questions? Okay, good. Okay, so as I was about to tell you, okay, follow the schedule. Fight to follow the schedule. That's what's supposed to happen, okay? Even you do for 24 hours, your body is not used to it. It's going to be achy, it's going to be tired, you're going to be sleepy, especially after you eat lunch in San Jose. Good luck trying to stay awake. Okay, it's really, really challenging. I was eating lunch today, and they gave me a big bowl, and then another plate, and then some desserts, and some fruits, and a slice of pizza. And they all said, this is only specially for today for you. And then later, after I ate the pizza, after I ate the bowl, after I ate, somebody came around and said, would you like another bowl? You see, so it's very difficult. And that's part of the training, I think. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that fight and fight and fight, just to follow the schedule. Of course, you fall asleep. I fell asleep today. Haven't you guys noticed? When I fall asleep, I go, anyone? That's what my Chan chicks, that's my first early day disciples. She's the one who in the Chan handbook #1. She's the sisters, the Chan sisters are the one that did the stretching, okay, those Chan chicks. And the younger sister says she was doing the Fo Chi, and so at the time I was doing the Weno, I was doing everything, okay, and eating and drinking and doing everything. And then so during the Dharma talk, there's a question and answer, and she asked me, Master, when you did the silent recitation and you went, what does that mean? I said, that was entering samadhi. For me. So anyway. My only excuse is that I have to do everything. So anyway, so the point is that you're supposed to struggle. Okay, so if you can do it without any problems at all, then you're not applying efforts. #1. So far, so good. It's supposed to be difficult for you. Okay, so you fight. You fight to keep up to the schedule, and if you can keep up the schedule, okay, and then you recite when you're supposed to recite. You get up when you're supposed to get up. You sit down when you're supposed to sit down, and so forth. Okay. There's a slack time. Okay, where I think, for example, after lunch, we don't begin until like 12:30 when we bow, which we don't do anymore because no one bows anymore. Okay. And we have some slack time until 1 p.m. What do you do? Yes, sir.
Master, I got a quick question about this one.
Yes.
we sit overnight until in the morning. Sunday, we do the morning ceremony when we do the chanting.
Yes.
Because we don't sleep at night, right? We sit meditation and then in the morning. When I look at the book, supposed to be the letter. But sometimes, somehow, I dreaming, I see something somewhere. So like Master just do a something. But for me, it's kind of half here, half
That's
there.
called snorting like a horse.
But not like that.
You have to do it right.
I want to know why is that? Because too sleepy or?
Because that's what horses do. You must understand everything. Ask a horse why he does that. Because that's what he does. Jeez, this guy, too much. You're killing me. Actually, let me explain to you. That happened because of the stress. Okay? Because of the stress built in, so you're not breathing properly. Okay? So that's why when you go into the sleep thing, there's a switch from your normal way breathing to the breathing during the sleep. And that snorting there is a transition until you switch from your regular awake breathing to the sleep breathing. So that phase there depends on the length of that phase, depends on how much stress you have at that point in time. So if you don't have a lot of stress, you don't even snort. If you have little stress, you snort for a little bit and then you breathe normally. If not, you snort like a horse forever. Okay? And to me, one of the reasons, let me tell you, is that when I was young in Vietnam, okay, we hired in Vietnam, okay, in Nha Trang, in my parents' house. We used to have hired this old Vietnamese guy to help out, okay, in the property. And he's old. And the Vietnamese, for some reason, they're very skinny, okay? And he's old, and so he works and he gets tired. So at lunch in Vietnam, what we do is we eat lunch and then we go and take a nap, right? That's our process. That's our normal schedule. We eat lunch and then we finish. We take a siesta until 2, then we go back to work, okay? So this guy here would eat lunch with us, like us. No, we don't. We eat separate things. Okay, he's helping hand, so he doesn't get to eat in the same table as we do. Okay, and so he would eat lunch, and then after lunch, we would sneak around in the garage where he would rest for the lunch siesta, and he would lie on the table, and we'll go. For the whole 2 hours. Would you imagine? And we were laughing and making fun of him. And that's what's happening to me nowadays. It's called karmic retribution. So it's not necessarily stress. Stress is just an excuse. It's that because I do that because I was naughty when I was younger. Now you know the truth. Okay. Any more questions before I teach you how to decide the Buddha's name? Somehow I don't feel like teaching you anymore. Would you like to learn from a guy who snorts like a horse? All of a sudden now, Lu Mountain Temple is full of people. What happened? Where did these people come from? I see Heinz, I see Ruth, and so forth. You hear the snorting passage? Anyway, okay, so never mind, I be a big man and ignore the embarrassment. Who asked about snorting again? Oh, the Chan chicks. Okay, they're not welcome again anyway. So you have a break. So when you follow the schedule, just follow the schedule. Nothing to think about. Okay. What I'm going to teach you is, remember you commit to 24 hours. There's some slack time there. I want to teach you how to decide during the slack time. How's that? Okay, because that's when you get sidetracked. Because then the slack time you say, let me check my phone, let me call home or something, because I have nothing to do anyway, right? Because it's my private time. No, you continue. So I'm going to teach you to continue. Cordelia, is that okay? Okay, so when you are not outside of the regularly scheduled events, okay, I want you to keep on reciting Buddha's name. Okay, that's what the Chinese Dharma door says. You keep reciting Buddha's name. I want to show you how to do that. Okay? What happened? Okay, my prop. Okay, I would like you to continue reciting Buddha's name using beats. Okay, this is during the unscheduled time slots, so that you create a habit to keep reciting the Buddha's name. Okay? Remember, we want to have the one block of 24 hours. So what happened is the schedule we give you is not all 24 hours. We give you some slack time because the Chinese are weak. Let's face it. We Westerners are much tougher. So I'm going to teach you how to fill up the 24-hour slot block. Block concept, okay? So when you recite during the off activity, your off time, okay? Recite using a beat like this, okay? And so this is what you should learn to do. Namo Emitofuo, Emitofuo. Every time you do Emitofuo, you do one beat, okay? Like this. So far, so good? That's how you start. Emitofuo, Emitofuo, Emitofuo. Okay? You talk to people come and ask you, would you like an orange? Yes, thank you, Emitofuo. Okay? You keep reciting, even though there's interruption. Okay? And if no one's talking to you, do not try to engage with people. Instead, recite the Buddha's name like this. Okay? So you keep reciting Emitofuo, Emitofuo, and I want you to recite silently, no moving of the lips. Only move your fingers. That's it. Okay? So far, so good? These would be a good size to do that. You also have the longer recitation beats like this as well. Okay? You might strangle your kids with this. So I prefer the smaller size myself. Okay? Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I just thought of it when on my way up here on Friday morning, so I didn't bring you the smaller size beads. But we have a bunch, so I come back. I don't think we have enough. So many people at Blue Mountain Temple. I don't think we have enough. But anyway, this is the size we have, 18 beads or whatever, the smaller size, okay? Recite silently and going like this, okay? Constantly, except when you go to the bathroom. You cannot bring your recitation beads to the bathroom. You know that, right? Okay, don't do that. Go to the bathroom, then recite with your fingers, okay? Emitofuo, 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 and so forth. So far, so good? Keep reciting. I want you, the purpose here, the Dharma door here, the technique here is tactile. I want you to feel with your fingers. Okay? Every time you recite, you feel your finger on something. Okay? Emitofuo, Emitofuo, Ayidafak, Amitabul. I don't care. Okay? Just when you recite the Buddha's name, feel something. okay? A bead or finger. So far, so good? That's what you do. And you keep on doing that, then the next step is you remember that silent recitation, meaning you recite in your mind. Is that clear? Next step is that you do it to the point you keep on doing that, becomes a habit, then it becomes tactile. You see? Meaning that the touch, you recite by touch. See, when I do like this, okay, naturally my mind should go, Emitofuo. I don't even have to think about it. So instead of formulating a thought, remember when you do silent recitation, you say, Emitofuo, Emitofuo. See, you have to will it, right? You understand where I'm going at. You have to will it, Emitofuo, 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 because you have to give rise to a thought called Emitofuo. Now I'm teaching you next is that when you feel this finger here, that should be automatic for you. Emitofuo should be automatic without even thinking. Is that clear? That's phase number 2. So far, so good. Okay? The Chinese don't teach you that. The Chinese, the Vietnamese, only the Japanese only teach you to use this. Emitofuo and use this. That's not enough. Okay? The way I teach you is first start with that to create a habit. Okay? Of silent recitation. Remember the purpose, the objective is to do silent recitation. Okay? So that you recite with your mind. And that paves the way for you to be able to recite with your mind by initiating that thought by touch, by not thinking anymore. That's very important. So far, so good. What happened is that I'm dissecting it for you because when you first, the way the Chinese teach you and the Vietnamese teach you is that you have to say Emitofuo and you count. Emitofuo and you count, right? So you have to think. Okay, that's first. They're not going far enough. They don't understand. Next step is that now when you move this here, okay, this is the automatic Emitofuo for you without thinking. That's what I want you to get to. Is that clear? Any questions or comments? How come when I give you the technical details, you don't have any questions, but you have plenty of questions about my snoring, and yes. Orange.
Bạch Thầy, con có ứng dụng cái phương pháp tương tự như Thầy dạy là con niệm Phật lúc con đi. Mỗi bước chân con đều niệm Phật hết. Nhưng mà có cái problem là khi con đứng lại thì con không niệm nữa. Chỉ niệm lúc đi mà thôi. Rồi sau này có vị dạy là niệm theo hơi thở. Thì xin Thầy dạy là niệm theo hơi thở có tốt hơn không ạ?
Master, I've been using a method that's similar to what you taught, that I will recite the Buddha's name while I was walking. But there's a problem. If I stand, then I stop reciting. And then later on, I was taught to recite the Buddha's name based on the breathing. So could you please teach us?
Okay. My simple answer is ignore those methods. I'm here to teach you a different way of reciting Buddha's name. Okay? Never mind about what you learn. I don't care what you learn. Because if you learn the proper things, you did the right things, they may be good, they may be bad. The bottom line is that you haven't still entered the samadhi yet. So there's no point in trying to improve the old methods. Okay? Personally, I don't like those methods. Okay, I'm teaching you today a different way of reciting for a purpose. Okay, to develop the skill here. When I teach you something in order for you to develop a skill. Okay, you can learn how to do this, how to do that. You can learn 2 more, 10 more different ways of reciting the Buddha's name, but unless there's a clear purpose of why you choose a certain path, I wouldn't do it. Okay? Remember, if you teach me something, I will ask you, if I do this, what does it bring me? Has it happened before? Okay? Have you trained people to be able to succeed at doing that before? I'm very blunt. Okay? So that's why, let me finish this thing here, and then you see. Okay? So the objective is for you to learn to recite, okay, automatically by tactile, by touch. Okay? You touch this is Emitofuo. Okay? So you're forcing yourself to the point, for example, someone talks to you, you go like this, in your mind, you can hear, you can talk, but still Emitofuo arises in your mind. Okay, I'm talking to you, and this is, at the same time, Emitofuo is still in my mind. Okay? You need to be aware of that. Okay? And to the point where if you're able to do that, okay, you can be interrupted. People can come and talk to you. This is still Emitofuo to you. It's still a reminder to you. It may not be as clear as when no one talks to you. But when you do this, phase number 2, level number 2 is that when you do this, Emitofuo still is in your mind while you're talking. Okay? So you won't be able to enter samadhi because you're talking to someone while you're thinking, talking to someone, and Emitofuo arises constantly. Well, that's okay. Okay? But when you stop talking, you go back to this, okay, only. Okay? If you do that, you will enter samadhi. I did that Friday morning without this. That's level 3. I don't need to touch it. You have to touch it. I don't need to touch it. Okay? You cannot do that, not you. You need to touch. Okay? So, level number 3, you can do that without touching. You don't need this anymore. And you still can enter samadhi. Okay? That's level number 3. This is level number 4, which I'm not teaching you yet until you become enlightened. Okay? Yes. Is there a question here?
So, just to confirm, number 3, level number 3 is still tactile, right? Like the finger, for example. No, not even that.
You don't need to touch anymore.
Okay. How does the touch connect to it? There's no touch. It's just mind. There's no that reminder anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one with the finger is actually.
So actually, in general, is that. The way that the Asians, the Vietnamese, the Chinese teach you to use this, I see the monks and nuns do this. Okay, actually it's very good. They just don't know how to use it, that's all. I'm telling you, you want to do this to generate the tactile, automatic recitation. That's why you're doing this, not because you're doing this to impress people. You understand? There's a difference. If I do this to you, in order to impress you, I'm reciting Buddha's name so that I get more donation from you, it's not going to happen. If you do this in order to impress your masters back there where you come from, spy number 2, okay, it's not going to happen. You just do this because you are doing a tactile recitation. Is it clear? That's the difference. Why those people who are doing this constantly are not entering samadhi? Because they're up to something. Don't try to impress people. Don't try anything. I'm reciting. This reminds me to recite Emitofuo, Emitofuo. That's all. It becomes mechanical, and this I'm reciting without thinking anymore. You see? I just feel I'm not thinking anymore. That's what you want, where you want to go. And let me warn you, you monks and nuns, you learn about these things, you monks and nuns say, I'm going to teach you how to do this, and especially the Sunims there, teach your disciples how to recite Buddha's name, and say, this is so cool, I enter Samadhi, and you try to do this, and you back in your mind, you're trying to impress people, okay? You're dead. You're wasting time. Okay? Yes.
Thưa thầy,
Orange.
con theo nhận xét của con đó, thì theo phương pháp mà lần chuỗi niệm Phật của thầy con thấy qua rồi. Nhưng mà không phải ai lần chuỗi niệm Phật cũng đạt được nhất tâm. Thì có người đạt được, có người không đạt được. Thì cái khác biệt là ở chỗ nào? Xin thầy dạy cho chúng con.
Master, I saw the method you taught us to use the beats in order to recite the Buddha's name. The problem is like some got the result, some did not attain result to get the one mind. So could you please tell us what is the difference, how to enter and why not enter?
Okay. I'm glad you asked a lot of questions. I'm glad you found something that interests you to do that. However, let me remind you again, okay? You're trying to understand. You don't need to understand. There's a lot more I'm not teaching you. I just remember, I'm only teaching you level 3. I'm not teaching you level 4 yet, because I'm preparing you to do level 4 later. You understand? You can't even do level 2 or level 3. There's no point in me teaching you to do level 4, because you can't do level 4. I just mentioned level 3. I just told you already you cannot do level 3. It's not possible for you. Okay? You can only do level 2 right now. I gave you level 3 already. You still can't do it. Never mind about level 4. Level 4 is very important. Okay, that's very advanced. And you can't even do level 3. So what's the point? I proved to you cannot do level 3. I challenge you to do level 3 and see if you can do it. Put 50 years and see if you can do it. All right, any other questions? Yes, Orange.
When I use my finger to count, can I go back and forth and just one direction from index finger to little finger?
Yeah, what happened is that there's 14 here. You can go, sometimes I don't have beats, I would use my fingers. When I recite the mantra, for example, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you see? 12, 14. And I backtrack, 15, 16, 17, see? 18, 19, 20, okay? You see? That's how I count reverse. Right? So you have your own way, but this is how we do to keep track of it. The reason is, when you recite the Buddha's name, you don't need to keep track of the count. All I need you is when you go to the bathroom or do something, okay, that's not conducive for you to use the beats, don't stop. Use a tactile, keep on touching. Emitofuo, Emitofuo, I don't care, just keep on touching, okay? And I would go, the trick is I could still count so that I'm still have this this replacing this process here, because when I do 18 on this one here, I know I just did 18. Same thing here. I would still count, okay, without keeping track of the count. You see that? When I'm done here, I know it's 12. I then reverse it. Doesn't matter. You can do whatever. But I need you to keep track of the fact that you are using the beads, some kind of tactile thing to create in your mind, associate the touching here with the Buddha's name so that you don't think anymore. That's the purpose of that phase 2. Okay? Phase 1 is for you to use your mind to recite. Okay? Learn to control your mind. Okay? Phase 2 is it should be automated without thinking, using touch. Okay? Phase 3 is different. You cannot do phase 2, you cannot do phase 3. You cannot do phase 3. Phase 4 is impossible. But phase 4 is for the advanced people who eventually we need to teach Pure Land. It's different. Okay? Phase 4, by the way, is for enlightened level. You recite the Buddha's name, you should get there. I'm trying to tell you that the Buddha's name can bring you to enlightenment. You keep on doing it, you will get there. By doing this, starting with doing this. I'm describing this to you. Did any teacher do that for you? Huh? They tell, yeah, this works. This is similar to what I learned. The question is, how far did you go? Did you go to phase 3? Did you go to phase 4? Got it? Yes. Giao lộ.
Thưa Thầy, con có 2 câu hỏi. Câu hỏi thứ nhất của con đó là cái trình độ mà niệm Phật tới nhất tâm bất loạn đó, nó tương đương với cái tầng nào của bên thiền? Đó là câu hỏi thứ nhất. Còn câu hỏi thứ hai của con đó là ở trong cái quyển sách A Di Đà đó, kinh A Di Đà đó, thì trong đó có cái đoạn mà kinh nói rằng là nhược nhất nhật, nhược nhị nhật, nhược tam nhật, nhược tứ nhật, nhược ngũ nhật, nhược ngũ lục, nhược lục nhật, nhược thất nhật, nhất tâm bất loạn, kỳ nhân, lâm mạng chung thời, A Di Đà Phật. Nhược nhất nhật, nhược gì nhật? Nhất tâm bất loạn, kỳ nhân, lâm mạng chung thời, A Di Đà Phật. Giữ chư thánh chúng hiện tại kỳ tiền, thị nhân chung thời, tâm bất điên đảo, tức đắc vãng sanh, A Di Đà Phật. Như vậy đó, những cái người mà niệm Phật cho tới nhất tâm bất loạn rồi đó, thì lúc khi mà họ trong kinh cũng có nói là theo kinh nghiệm mấy thầy giảng đó, thì khi mà cái người mà lâm chung đó, tâm thần điên đảo, họ không có thể mà định được, thì như vậy cái niệm Phật mà nhất tâm bất loạn tới đó, cái khi mà người ta lâm chung đó thì như thế nào thưa Thầy?
So what's the first question again? I forgot. Câu hỏi đầu tiên là gì? Nhắc lại dùm cho Thầy.
Master,
yeah, go ahead, translation.
Could you please verify with us the level of one mind and confused? What is the equivalent level in Chan meditation? That's the question number 1.
And number 2.
And question number 2, she quotes the Amitabha Sutra. There is a part that says that if you recite Amitabha's name, whether it's for 1 day, 2 days, 3, 4, 5 days, 6 days, up to 7 days with one mind unconfused, and when this person nears the end of life, before him will appear Amitabha and all the assembly of holy ones when the end comes, his mind will be without inversion, not confused, and then Amitabha will be reborn in Amitabha's pure land. So I have a question that those people that before they die, their mind is upside down. So for the person that already attend the one mind unconfused, how it will happen to them?
Okay, number one, there is no parallel, there is no clear definition between the Buddha recitation samadhi versus the Chan hierarchy. There's no correlation, so I can't tell you. Okay, so I don't know of any way to correlate it to you. However, if you're asking to try to gauge what it is, I can tell you that it's lower than 4th-stage Arhat. For example, meaning that if you practice meditation, like they say an Arhat practices meditation, and he decides to practice reciting Buddha's name, his chances of entering his Buddha recitation are much higher than you. Okay, so that's why from my personal perspective, it doesn't matter. We don't need to know what it is because I'm not gonna, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, and there's no reference. I don't have enough knowledge or wisdom to be able to take a chance and tell you what it is. Okay, tell you it's between 2 and 3, 2 second dhyana and third dhyana and so forth. It's not a good thing to do. It's not worthwhile for us to do that. The way I look at it is that there's a reason for that. The way I look at it is that you are too focused on the Buddha recitation samadhi. Okay, I'm more interested in bringing you higher than necessary because you are so preoccupied with rebirth and you forget about another aspect that's equally important, which is your rebirth grade. I don't want to be born in this world and be a beggar. I'd rather be president if I have a chance. Okay, if I have a choice right now, I'd try to prepare to become a president on my next life instead of being a beggar. See, to me, the analogy is if you only worry about reciting Buddha's name to the one mind unconfused, that's become a beggar to me. It's not good enough. I want to be able to go higher grades. That's what the Pure Land Dharma door is. Okay? We want you to go there, be reborn with higher grades. So don't stop at one mind unconfused. That's not good enough. Okay? You in the Pure Land Dharma door, and I'm glad you asked a question, and let me spell it out for you from my personal perspective. Number one, if you manage to get into the Buddha recitation samadhi, wonderful. What happened is that if you do that once when you're alive, okay, then by the time you die, you can goof off and do whatever. This is what I believe. Okay, I have to be clear for you. Okay, if you enter this Buddha recitation samadhi once and you don't enter it at all anymore, by the time you die, okay, you may, at that point in time, you may be able to, you may have a very polluted mind because you've been creating offenses, okay, until you die. But because when you die, you're on the list for Amitabha Buddha to come to bring you back, okay? So you're on that list already for having entered the samadhi once, okay? So when you die, because of that, Buddha will come because you're on the list. When you die, the Buddha knows, he immediately comes, okay? And because he comes, his presence will clear your head, and your head becomes proper. And that's what enables you to go to rebirth. Because your mind is upside down, you cannot go to rebirth. But because the Buddha put you on the list, so that when you die, the Buddha comes, his presence will put in you in the proper mind, so that you can go for rebirth. That's why. So far, so good? Okay, now, I need to be clear with you, okay? This is my interpretation. It hasn't happened yet. What I tell you is from observing the last 15 years. When people go for rebirth, what happens? That's what I observe. So I teach you all these things. What I just told you is that my interpretation of what happens, why a person can be creating offenses, okay? But by the time he dies, all of a sudden his mind becomes clear and pure, is because he receives help from somewhere else. Okay? And this particular case, that is because the Buddha comes and he helped you, put you on the lotus days and bring you back. That's why. Okay? And again, I need to stress to you, that is my interpretation. I have not observed that yet. So please take it with a grain of salt. So far, so good? I don't want to mislead you. Okay? That's the only way possible. Okay? That I know of. And however, here's what happens to the Asian Pure Land Dharma door nowadays. You are so preoccupied with going rebirth that no one teaches you about the importance of rebirth grade. You know why you're here? You're here because you are able to create more rebirth blessings a lot faster than you were in the Pure Land. You go to the Pure Land, your blessings creation will be a lot lower than here. So, if you understand that, then you realize the Pure Land Dharma door is not just rebirth, but also to create blessings for you to improve quicker in the Pure Land. That's not explained to the Asians. The Asians say, I want to go to Pure Land. You all want to go to Pure Land because you are beggars. You go there as beggars, you're happy already. We are teaching you, don't be so easily satisfied. I want you to go there with high grades. Go there with upper grade. Don't go there lower grades. It's not worth it to me. Because when you go there lower grade, it's very slow for you to get up there. Is that clear? Am I making sense to you? See, this is why I find pitiful the way the Asians teach it, including my masters. Because he explains the Pure Land Dharma door, but he does not stress the importance of the rebirth grade, because he doesn't have time to explain to his disciples. Okay? I want you to, that's why I don't worry so much about this recitation of samadhi, where is it compared to the Chan hierarchy, too low level. Doesn't matter, okay? I prefer that you recite the Buddha's name and you keep reciting, keep improving. Even after you enter this Buddha recitation samadhi, I want you to continue, keep reciting, keep improving to improve your rebirth grade. So why worry about what level it is? Okay, number one. Number two, if you don't enter this recitation samadhi by reciting the Buddha's name, but you reach the level of fourth stage arhat, or you become enlightened, you know, at that point in time, Okay, for you to enter that Buddha recitation samadhi, it's not even an issue. Because it's very easy for those people. Okay? So that's why for us, we don't really worry about what level it is. We know it's low. It's not that high. It's a fact.
Thầy, con cảm ơn thầy. Con hỏi với mục đích để con chọn lựa coi cái phương pháp nào mình có thể áp dụng được cho bản thân của mình đó thầy. Dạ, cảm ơn thầy.
Okay, and again, it is more. It's more than that. You both are mature, and you both are wise, and you both are smart, but you don't understand the Pure Land Dharma door yet. It's a lot more than just that. Okay, that's not the purpose of the Pure Land Dharma door. Okay, it's a lot more. Okay, you are too confident of yourself. Okay, the question earlier from Daniel from Japan is he talks about faith, and I want to stress to you. Okay, the primary reason, one of the most important reasons for your rebirth to the Pure Land is faith. And someday you understand why. Okay, faith in what? My Chinese teacher explained faith in cause and effect, faith in you, faith in the Buddha, faith in and so on and so forth. I would summarize all those on one thing for you: faith in your good knowing advisor. Not faith in yourself. You still have faith in yourself. He still has faith in himself. He needs to understand. He needs to be sure that he's doing the right thing, that he knows what to do. Okay? What I'm teaching you is just do as you told. That's called having faith in your good knowing advisor. That trumps any skill, any smart you have. Because you can't figure it out. It's not something you can figure out. Not possible for you to figure out. You can figure out all you want until the day you die, you still can't get it. You still won't be able to understand. Okay? It's a wise thing. Yes, you should take care of yourself. You should be sure. And I understand that, but that's worldly Pure Land Dharma door. In Mahayana Pure Land Dharma door, there's only one thing you do. You choose someone, you put your faith in that person, that's it. I put my faith in my Chinese teacher, that's it. Because of that, I'm able to understand more and more and more and more, because he paved the way by teaching me, paved the way for me to understand. Similarly, I'm doing the same thing for you. I'm doing you phase 1, phase 2. I'm teaching you about phase 3 already. And I'm telling you there's a phase 4 for you. I'm paving the way for you. Like my teacher did for me. Okay? It's not something you can understand. Either you do it, you don't. You too, go ahead.
Lena, Indonesia asks, Master,
what? Indonesia? Japan? Indonesia has a lot of COVID-19. Go ahead.
She asks, would any kind of beads do for reciting the Buddha's name?
Yes, but we prefer you buy it from our Xian'an website. She sells beads at a very good price for... Can you believe that would you believe this? Before she shaved her head, she said, Master, I need to show you how to make more money by selling beads. I said, yeah, why don't you shave your head first? And she did make money selling beads, believe it or not. Hey, Xianan, are you still selling beads? We wait for you. She hides in a corner. See, the master snorts and the disciple sells beads. That's no? What happened? Who told you to stop? Oh, horrible person. No one told you to stop. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so, yes, Daniel. Don't get any close. Excuse me. Blue.
I have a question regarding, because I want to find out, but in the Catholic way, is it possible to use...
Catholic way? Oh, Lord. Go ahead.
So I was wondering if I could use the beads from the rosary, and I was wondering if that would make the same effect or the same contribution.
You can use the rosaries, that would work. Absolutely. Okay? If it helps you. But, Xianan sells the beads at a very good price. We give you a 10% discount tonight. Okay, anyone else? Okay, finally, let me close by telling you this, okay? I want to stress to you, just follow the instructions. Do not try to understand too much, and just do it. And if it doesn't work for you, switch. Go somewhere else. Don't waste time. That's all. Okay? That's life. It doesn't work for you, move on. Right, Daniel? Yes, yellow.
Phase 3, if I just stand here and I recite the Buddha's name, that's not it, right? Is phase 3 just doing that pretty much all the time?
Doing what? I didn't even...
So reciting Buddha's name, if I just sit or stand and then recite the name in my mind, that's not phase 3 you're talking about.
No.
No,
It's not something that you've been taught yet. Okay, it has to be taught, and it's a form of recitation that's more advanced than the way the Asians do that, and the Asians don't know. And if you do that, it's in order to prepare you to go to phase 4. Okay? I'm trying to tell you that if you do that, you can become enlightened reciting the Buddha's name. You don't need Chan. Okay? So that's why the people who practice Chan say, I just practice, I don't recite Buddha's name. I say, you can't even do what we do when we recite the Buddha's name. This particular Dharma door is very conducive to that style of practice that's not available in Chan. The Chan is more structured. Okay. Anyway, it's a different kind of thing. Okay. You have to do it. You see, you all jumping the gun. I don't see anyone holding beads. I've been holding beads, and no one, look at. We've been talking about this because Cordelia asked, and for the last hour or so, I've been holding beads, and no one picked up any beads. You see, you guys only want to understand. You don't want to do it. You see, you lack sincerity. You lack faith. Yeah, too late now. This is not a rest room. What are you talking about? Okay? Yeah. Anything else? Okay, again, one paves the way for two. Phase one paves the way for phase two, because I'm teaching you to recite by tactile without thinking. That's phase two, which paves the way for phase three, okay? Which removes tactile and goes to something else, which then brings you to phase four. And that's not available by the Asian Buddha recitation technique. They don't know that. This is the West, the Western Buddha recitation technique that I'm teaching you. They don't have it. Mm-mm. Not the Asians. All right? Anything else? Okay, it's 9:30 in California, so we're gonna stop here tonight and we do our great transference. Thank you, everyone. Malaysia? What time is it in Malaysia and Japan? Indonesia. From Japan? Oh, okay, the Daniel, yeah, okay. But Indonesia? Never heard that person before. They've been listening, quietly, and now. And Korea continues to sell beads. I just open up more orders for you. And fix the audio thing.
Testing. Okay. Testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear? Nghe được không? Nghe vào. Okay.
But okay, in closing, remember, you have to go phase one. Don't jump to phase two immediately. You should start with thinking first, okay? And then you do it long enough, it becomes natural that you recite by tactile. It becomes natural. You don't have to think about it, okay? Don't just be too ambitious and jump to phase two right away. You're going to struggle, and that's not how it works. You need to go step by step. It will happen naturally. It's a natural progression. All right, let's do a great transference.